Billy Reeves here. Welcome to the Kscope podcast 166. Thanks for being there. I trust you're well. In this edition then, The Pineapple Thief, the brand new album. It leads to this, which is out right now. You will hear an exclusive interview with the Pineapple Thief gaffer Bruce Soord. The album's coming out in a staggering array of formats: coloured vinyl, Dolby Atmos, 4 CD book set, Blu-ray, and also there's a European tour. Tickets on sale now, starts on the 20th of February, and we will see you at the Shepherd's Bush Empire in West London on the 16th of March. Right, let's kick off with the title track.
What you see is no surprise, but it's not the half of it. Always there by your side, in the cold black center of your eye. You made your mark, a life of toil, but that's irrelevant now. All the traces worn away by the long of your decay. So it leads to this. How could we get it so wrong? For all this time, for all this progress, for all this time, for all this progress, for all this time, for all this progress, no surprise, but it's not the end of it. The future, what is left, is right here standing by your side. So it leads to this. How could we get it so wrong? For all this time, our so-called progress. So it leads to this. Oh, how you waited this long. For all this time, you were here with me. For all this time, you were here with me. For all this time, for all this progress, for all this time, I didn't notice you.
Pineapple Thief, it leads to this. Time then to catch up with Bruce Soord. He in his studio, me in mine. The last time I saw him, of course, a triumphant, beautiful solo show at Nell's in West London. Very disciplined musician and writer and producer of music, isn't he, Bruce Soord? You've got your solo album, followed by your solo tour, followed by your solo live album, followed by your Pineapple Thief singles. The Pineapple Thief album comes out, the Pineapple Thief tour. How does he keep it fresh? How does he keep it focused? Is he happy working the treadmill?
No, I think I've kind of just settled into this cyclical kind of life where I finish a record, and then whenever you finish a record, you think, "Oh my God, I can't do that again." And then 6 months go by, and you get the bug, and you pick up a guitar, and you just want to write songs. So it's just as long as I've got this life where I'm a full-time musician, it just happens by itself. I couldn't imagine spending, letting my life go by without writing music. I just no.
Conversely, there's a lot of artists that have to catastrophize to be inspired. That if you get, perhaps if you get comfortable doing something, you don't move forward. Is there any way that you can kind of like catastrophize it by going, okay, I'm going to write this one on a banjo?
No, I don't. So far, I haven't had to do that. I have had obviously some shaky moments in the studio where you're thinking, nothing's happening, nothing's working, and then all of a sudden, things happen that inspire you. I don't think I need that sort of to be too contrived in sort of getting the creative juices flowing. But
you do work closely with the label. And you do, there's some old-fashioned A&Ring going on there, and you do work closely with your fellow band members. Is that fair? Do you have a support network?
Yeah. So I mean, the label is a weird thing. I don't look at them as a label. They're just people that I've known for nearly 20 years. And Johnny, the label has, like you say, he's more than just a guy at the label. He just helps me when I'm working on songs. He listens and he when I'm struggling, he's always there to support me.
The solo tour was great. I thought it was such a great night. It was really great vibes at Nell's. It's such a perfect place to do it. Great little band. How is it different from playing with the band? I mean, I guess obviously there's more money involved with playing with the band, but there is more headaches. Perhaps you're closer to people if you're doing the solo. What are the main differences between doing a solo tour and a TPT tour?
It felt like the old days of like pick up your guitar, jump in a van, and turn up at this venue. And that's what we were doing. And we looked at the costs, and it's not, it's harder to tour at that level. And we looked at the costs, and we're thinking, blimey, we are borderline able to make this work. So right, we're going to do it old school. So me and John drove. I think we drove 5,000 miles in 2 weeks. But it was brilliant. It was like me and my best mate on a road trip, and the rest of the band in the back of the split bus. Turn up at the venue. You lug your own gear in. You plug it all in yourself. I mean, the horror plugging in my own equipment. And, sound checking, things going wrong, and you think, oh no, I'm going to have to fix this myself. And, and then you do the show. But it was lovely because, like as you've seen, it was such an intimate venues and the vibe with the crowd. And also, it kind of made me realise that there were quite a few faces in the audience that I recognised from 20 years ago, when Pineapple Thief was doing these kind of shows, the sort of smaller club shows. That fan base that has just kept us going.
There's very much a distinctive Pineapple Thief and Bruce Soord sound that you can quite easily be your favourite group. When you were doing those club shows before, though, presumably you were trying to fill the room with noise. So, and try and grab people's attention like that. It's a very different thing to fill it with silence.
Yeah, I know. And it wasn't until we sort of started playing that I realised, oh God, this set is so delicate. And so the whole tour, when we were doing it, it was just so special. And it was really nice to be able to come out afterwards and actually meet people, which is what we always used to do. We can't do that now. It was just so nice. You just kind of reminds you of what it was all about, and it reminds you of why you're doing it. these people, when you meet them, they're like so moved. You know, they tell you how much they love the show and love your music, and it's like it's easy to forget that.
As a percentage of their income, they're now paying more to see you than they ever did, because these costs are having to be passed on to the public, especially in London. How are musicians going to make this work with rising costs of touring and Brexit and carnets and all that bollocks?
The carnets, yeah, and that was a thing, and this was what we experienced doing the solo tour, as opposed to the Pineapple Thief tour, where we're lucky to be big enough to absorb those costs. So we kind of had that firsthand, and you realise that you just got to think a little bit left field, and that's why we did. It's really nice of Kscope to let me do it, but we did the limited edition live CD, and basically that is the reason that me and John actually managed to get a wage for the tour. Otherwise, I think we just about broke even.
Lyrically, the album seems quite apocalyptic, political with a small p, perhaps elliptical, though. You're not hectoring. I mean, a lot of protest music is like, we think this is terrible, don't do this. That it's very difficult to be positive about, about suggesting an alternative. But I did, obviously, there is the opening track, there is a suggestion that it's someone else's responsibility, perhaps, we'd put it right?
Yeah, I think Put It Right was, I guess, a collective responsibility. And I think throughout the record, there's this kind of, there's a sort of personal perspective where you kind of reassess your life. You look back on your life and you reassess it. I'm older and I'm wiser, and you can't help but just do that reassessment. And sometimes it's quite painful to do that. And you kind of think, well, God, was I part of the problem? And not just about the world, the state the world it's in, but looking at my family. Was I all those years where I was desperately ambitious? Was that the cost of my family and things like that? So, so from that personal perspective, there's still time to put it right, but at the same time, you can apply it to everything.
This haven fades out. There's no one here to help to figure out. Do all roads lead to here? Another one bails out. There's no one here, no chance to figure it out. Not all roads lead to here. This haven is drowned out. There's someone here cannot live without. All this time, now time to figure out. Love in the silence is everyone. All caught in the silence, nowhere to run. Found some time to put it right. There's still time to start. silence from everyone. Alone with the silence, nowhere to run. Found some time to put it right. There's still time to start. Found some time to put it right. There's still time to start.
You mentioned how closely you collaborate with the band. John, you've known for a long time. We've talked about how Steve will react to stuff. Does John do the same? I mean, I do notice actually that he's gone a bit funky. There's some thumb on this album. I did notice he does get a bit.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you noticed that. Yeah, he did this sort of It's as soon as he sent me that bass track, and I said, "What is this? It sounds like slap bass." And it
This
was
is on
like,
the song "Every Trace of Us."
Every trace of us. Yeah, every trace of us. It's this. It kind of dances outside of the chords. He really. He's the thing about John is that he'll take the most obvious root note and he'll put that in the bin, and he will search for anything that is going to surprise you. So quite often he'll send me these bass parts and it will completely change the track. But one thing I've learned to do in my old age is to accept these things and to think, well, hold on, this isn't how the song was sounding originally. It just takes them to somewhere, mysterious that I would never ever go. So it's nice.
So you are very much the Gary Barlow of the band, I think. John Sykes is the pure sex. He'd be impossible to replace.
You mean I'm not the number one pin-up, bit like Simon Le Bon to John Taylor?
I want to see the flames all bearing down on me. These walls, they will be utterly destroyed with me. Let free.
How do you compartmentalise when you're writing, and is the solo album influencing the group?
When I'm writing for solo, it is a very, very different mindset. And I know that when I shut the studio door, it's me, myself, and I. That's it. Whereas with the Pineapple Thief, it's I guess in a way it's more fun because it's much more collaborative. So I'll start something, I'll write the words and melodies, but then it's straight over to the band. The band is straight in. So there aren't really ever demos anymore. So it's almost like just here's a riff, here's a verse and chorus, and that's it. And I found that just letting myself go and just being open to that has been really refreshing. I think, how many studio albums have we done? 14, 15? You got to do that.
What can we expect set list wise from the tour? Because balance of old and new, of course. Because there's quite a large repertoire now.
Yeah, and we don't want to be that band. We always talk about it. Like my wife always says, there's no band on this planet that I like enough to sit through a 3-hour show. I don't care. It's too long. So we all agree that we don't want to be that band. So we can't play everything that we want to play. But we have already had a pre-production rehearsal, so we've played the new songs live, and we're just loving playing the new album so much that it's going to be really difficult not to do them all. But so we're going to get together in a couple of weeks, and we're going to try the set. And putting a set together is really, it's like a DJ. You've got to it's not just a case of just whacking all your favourite tracks on a list. It's got to be a journey, and it's just like the album. It's got to have that light and shade and drama, but drama only when it's required. But we've got a sort of an A list, an untouchable list of songs that will always play.
But I guess it's also a case of how familiar you feel the audience are with new stuff.
That's the worry. That is the worry, and you kind of get to know almost immediately when you play the first shows whether, even though we're so excited to play the new ones, will people coming? Will they, what do they want? Are they going to want to hear the new stuff? I mean, we've had the singles out, so that that they should be, nicely ingrained. But the album will only have been out for a few weeks when we play our first show in Manchester. So
I guess the audience will be expecting that, and if you don't do a lot of stuff from the new record, it will demonstrate a lack of confidence with the new record.
True, yeah. And so I think we will. I think we'll be playing a lot of the new record, but also a lot of the catalogue. Hopefully the right balance, but we shall find out.
Okay, and where are you looking forward to visiting again?
Well, we're looking at. It's funny because we when we launch the tour, it's always a worry because you look at the sales. So the first time the sales come in, and we're so pleased because we've already sold more tickets than the last time we did a European tour. So it's. And everywhere's different. It's like an organism, The Spanish crowds are like a football team, a football match. They're singing and chanting all the way through.
Yeah, cool. I really hope you play The Frost, as we mentioned in the previous podcast. I love that track.
Another unconscious morning, a dawn I will never know. ghost inside you. You wanted to feel its bite. You wanted to go at night. You wanted the ghost inside you. You wanted to feel its bite. You wanted to go at night. You wanted to feel inside you. You wanted to feel its bite. I hold you down. I hold you down. I hold you down. Before you do your we fall into the ocean floor without a single movement more. You're falling with me. Together in this hopeless world. Together only you can know. We fall into this ocean floor without a single movement more. You're falling with me. We're together in this hopeless hold. Together only we can know.
All right, thanks to Bruce Soord for being on the Kscope podcast the most of anyone, and there's a little bit more of him in the next one. Thanks for being there, and do like and share wherever you find the podcast. Ta-da!